Shelia Bolam is also an ardent railway enthusiast with a fascinating story to tell. She visited Loddiswell in the 1970s, saw the old station and fell in love with it. She explains what impelled her to buy the old derelict GWR building.
We were looking originally for a piece of land on which to build a house, and we saw this building and it seemed to be wanted to be looked after. It seemed that it wanted loving, and like any tourist we poked our nose in and had a look round and more or less fell in love with the place from that point onwards. At that time the gentleman who owned it didn't want to sell it at all, so we asked him if he would take our name down on a list, and he said yes. He had a long list of up to 20 people and he would consider it. A year later, when we'd already bought a house, we received a note through the door to say that a local estate agent was now selling Loddiswell Station and were we interested. Of course we were, but by that time we were heavily committed. I went down to the estate agents to find the details, and it suddenly occurred to me that I had about £25 in my pocket, which was the housekeeping money for the week. So I tentatively gave him that as a deposit on Loddiswell Station, not wondering what we were going to do next. I then rang my father in the northeast of England, asked him if he would loan me a considerable amount of money. Dad thought this was shocking that his daughter should ask for so much and thought I was in trouble with the police, until I explained that in fact I wanted to buy a house. The money came practically by return of post, and to the surprise of the estate agent we were able to go down almost 2 days later and say yes, we had the money, and by virtue of me placing that instant deposit on the counter we were considered as the first option buyers, and that's how we got Loddiswell Station. It was what we would call a Devon derelict. It was practically as it was the day the railway company moved out. A little bit forlorn. The windows had been boarded up with tin. It stood looking rather weary, but the structure was so good that you could tell that there was a lot of life in the old girl yet. We had huge keys to open the big padlocks on the doors, and when we threw back the doors, inside it was just step back into time, I would say. The old ledger pockets were still there, the ticket office panel was still there, the decorated hand basins, the Victorian decorated hand basins in the loos, they were all there, but sadly somebody had taken a sledgehammer to some parts, so they were irretrievable. And we just took it from there. We used to play games. We used to have friends up for barbecues, and we treated it like a toy at first.